the quarter acres, please. We have tomatoes, also trees. Today on Quarter Acres, we are going to show you how to turn some dirt and some salad containers and some paper towel tubes and turn them into seed starting trays. It doesn't take a whole lot of equipment. I think scissors are good, and gloves are optional. And pants. Don't forget pants. Now granted, this is an old technique, ancient even. I'm pretty sure it was originally designed by the Catalonians who passed it on to the Romans, and now we can do it. Now, depending on what you want to start, you can either take your tube and cut it in half for smaller things, or you can leave it whole for larger things. Like if you're going to start a squash, I would leave this whole. But one thing you want to do, and I will show you by cutting that just like that. Now granted, a paper pot is eventually going to dissolve in the ground, but not as fast as you'd like it to. So to give a chance for roots to pop on out of the sides, notice I'm cutting little V-notches. One on each quadrant, like that. And honestly, you don't have to make sure that falls off. You can just leave that loose and attached. Come out. Just like that. And that is the mini paper pot. Then you take that, you got your salad container, and then you put it in the salad container. Now we got to take our dirt and put it there. Now to help us, we're going to build a funnel. Now for your funnel, you want to make sure it can pass the funnel test. This is an empty container of mop glow, and here is a little pot that eventually we want to fill with dirt. So the test is, make sure that open container fits in just like that. Now, all we gotta do is grab some scissors and stab it in, and then you cut it just like that. Very simple. Get some anger out. Daddy, why'd you leave me? And then you're done. Now, you do want to make sure that these are extra washed out, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, this is done, but I admit, this is terrible. Just terrible. Failure, really. Give me a second. There we go. Now it's brand name, which makes it good. Alright. So now, this is compost dirt that I got from an external source, community compost. It tends to be full of weed seeds, but what are you going to do? It is free. Now, I did take this stuff and I ran it through a homemade sifter, that way to get the rocks out, because if you get some rocks and vines in there, it is not going to want to come out of this funnel. So scoop, scoop, scoop. And you go to your little planters, and then you just kind of shake the dirt in, assuming it is not black dirt. And you just shake that dirt in. Fill that up. Fill that up. And now I just go down the line, and I can stop filming and maybe put on some music. My seedling labels just came in from my Better Homes and Gardens order, and now I have some seeds. Those are going to be from these little cherry tomatoes, and I'm gonna take, I don't know, between kind of see that 3 or 4, and I'm gonna place them in here, and then that's 4. That's 3. Let's do 4. And that's actually 5. That's okay. And I'm going to poke them in. And then lightly covering up. And then as these germinate, I can go ahead and keep like the 2 nicest ones, prune away the weaker ones. And then once I get those outside, I can keep the strongest one of the 2 and work with that. Woof! a lot of my seeds this year I got from this guy called the Me Gardener. Sounds kind of selfish to me, but from what I understand, his seeds are top-notch. And here we go. Things are nice and organized and labeled. Now, my favorite feature about doing this in the salad containers is A, I can water this and I don't have to worry about spillage. A salad container is watertight, but these come with a lid. Now, I did take the label off because what I can do, after I water these, I pop the lid, put it in the window, and that acts like a mini greenhouse. It's going to be hot in there, it's going to be humid, and things, especially the peppers, are going to germinate a whole lot better. Nice little hack, as it's called. Here are some long-term plants that I already started. Down here, got a whole bunch of celery, famous for its long germination time, but with that lid on, it actually popped up rather quickly. Over here, leeks. Not necessary, but they just did very well with the lid on. Now, once these got too tall, then it's lid off for the rest of the time, but that's okay. Now, I can prick off these celery seedlings and put them into these bigger containers. So I actually had to cut open the side of the salad container to get to all the celery seedlings, and that's what they look like when they're separated out into the cells individually. And I do have some clumps, but that's okay. I can trim the lesser ones and keep the big, strong ones. And if something dies, I have backups. Here's a nice professional seedling tray, courtesy of my boss. At the very end, I got a bunch of mixed herbs. Basil, thyme, I believe, what did I put? Summer savory? Tarragon. Yes, they're coming along nicely. But at the bottom, here I'm going to put some of those spare celeries. Now, all you got to do, take your finger, you put a little hole, and then you come to your seeds. Focus, please. Focus. Focus. It'll get there. And then you grab one of these. I like to move it from the side. The roots release gently from the side. And then you kind of just place it in. And then you neaten it up. And then you tuck it in, read it a story, tell it you love it. It's the only one for you. There you go. All that's left to do is to grab your favorite name brand water bottle and just start watering. See you next time.